Imagine a lush, terraced garden towering above an ancient city, a paradise of green hanging high in the air, defying the arid desert around it. This garden, known as the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, was so beautiful and breathtaking that it was called one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. But here's the twist. Despite its legendary status, archaeologists have never actually found any proof that it existed. What if one of the world's greatest wonders is just a myth? Or, even stranger, what if we've been searching in the wrong place all along? The story of the Hanging Gardens goes back to around 600 BC during the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar II, who ruled the Babylonian Empire. According to legend, Nebuchadnezzar built this garden for his wife, Amytis, who missed the lush mountains and valleys of her homeland. To make her feel at home, the king supposedly constructed an oasis in the heart of Babylon, filled with exotic plants, waterfalls, and terraces that reached high into the sky. Some ancient writers even describe the gardens as an engineering marvel, with a sophisticated system to draw water up to the highest terraces, a feat that seems impossible for that time. Despite these tales, there's a huge problem with the story. No one has found any physical evidence of the Hanging Gardens. Excavations in Babylon, located in modern-day Iraq, haven't uncovered any remnants of the gardens. In fact, ancient records from Babylon itself, including those left by Nebuchadnezzar, don't even mention it. How could something so grand, so famous, leave no trace behind? Some historians have even suggested that the Hanging Gardens might have been nothing more than a poetic legend. But here's something most people don't know. A growing number of scholars believe the gardens may have actually existed, just not in Babylon. An alternate theory suggests the gardens might have been in the Assyrian city of Nineveh, located further north in what is now Iraq. This theory comes from Dr. Stephanie Daly, a British historian and expert on ancient Mesopotamia, who points out that the descriptions of the gardens more closely match Nineveh's landscape than Babylon's. In Nineveh, archaeologists have found signs of an ancient garden with complex water systems that could have supported a lush green paradise. If Dr. Daly's theory is correct, the Hanging Gardens were attributed to Babylon because it was such a powerful and famous city at the time, making it a natural choice for a legendary site. And while this idea challenges the traditional tale, it also opens up new mysteries. Could the Greeks and Romans who documented the Seven Wonders have been mistaken? And if so, what else about ancient history could we be misunderstanding? Now let's talk about the mind-blowing engineering behind the supposed gardens. Even if they were built in Nineveh instead of Babylon, creating these gardens was no small task. To lift water up multiple stories, ancient engineers would have needed a sort of early hydraulic system, perhaps involving a series of pulleys or a chain pump, a technology well ahead of its time. This means that if the gardens existed, they weren't just a sight to see. They were a testament to ancient innovation, proving that civilizations thousands of years ago were capable of feats we usually attribute to much later periods. Although Babylonian records are silent on the matter, ancient Greek and Roman writers had plenty to say about the gardens. The historian Diodorus Siculus described the gardens as hanging like a series of balconies raised one above another. He even claimed the garden terraces were planted with trees and shrubs that created a canopy of shade. According to Strabo, another ancient writer, the gardens had terraces with plants that clung to the sides of the structure, creating a lush, vertical jungle. If these writers were exaggerating, it certainly added to the allure of the place. Here's another twist. Even if the Hanging Gardens were in Nineveh or Babylon, we might never be able to find them. In ancient times, cities were often destroyed by wars, floods, or even the slow decay of time. Some believe that if the gardens did exist, they may have been lost due to destruction or simply reclaimed by the land. Centuries of erosion and shifting rivers could have wiped out the remains entirely, making this wonder truly lost to history. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, or Nineveh, if you believe that theory, continue to inspire imaginations and spark debates. Whether they were real or myth, the idea of these gardens represents something deeply human, a desire to create beauty in unexpected places. Imagine a king building a lush garden in the middle of a barren desert, all to bring joy to his queen. It's the kind of story that sticks with us, whether or not it's entirely true. So, were the Hanging Gardens real, or just a legend that grew out of ancient stories? We may never know for sure, but that's what makes history so fascinating: the mystery, the wonder, and the endless quest for answers. If you enjoyed unraveling this ancient mystery with us, hit the subscribe button for more incredible stories from the past. Who knows what other secrets history might be hiding, waiting for us to discover?